we don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenge. If I'm sitting around all day, just watching TV, not going to the gym, not pushing my muscles, not eating good food, not taking care of myself, I'm not growing at all. If anything, I'm regressing. It's challenging some days to wake up and not hit snooze. It's challenging to get out for a walk. It's challenging to get to the gym when there's ice and snow all over your car and you're not feeling it. And sometimes life will throw things at you. It'll punch you in the face a bit and you can kind of whine about it and sit around and go nowhere and be a victim to circumstance. Or you can say, what can I do? How can I go through this? How can I, break this down and build up the pieces and get things going?
Honestly, yeah, it's just easy to think of these different challenges and obstacles and just be like even sometimes when I have something pop up, like the first part of me just wants to like retreat and just be like, I don't want to deal with anything. But I'm like, you know what? Dealing with hard things, pushing through different times and even difficult situations, or I don't want to go to the gym, or, I've got my neck hurting. Like, I got to figure it out. It's like, all right, like we got something in front of us. Like, let's figure it out.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And this is Motivation Monday. We are here to fire you up, get you inspired, motivated, educated, and we're going to jump into it with our primary question that you guys have asked. If you ever want to submit a question for the show, I highly recommend just sending us a DM to our Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. And if you love this show, you're going to love the extra value there. We're always posting motivational stories, high-level tips, nutrition tips, giving away things. So it's a great companion to this podcast. I definitely recommend checking us out there. Say what up. Any kind message you want to send us, we'll always take. And if you have a question, we'd be more than happy to answer it. But now we're going to jump into that first question out of the mailbag. And that is, in the last few years, I've had just over 20 pounds to lose. I've tried a few times, but it hasn't stuck. How can I do this sustainably this year and lose the weight for good?
Yeah, this is a great question. And honestly, I know a lot of people who are in this exact situation, obviously from talking to friends, family members, some of you listeners, and people who just talk to us through Instagram. So I know there have been a lot of people in kind of the same spot for the last little while. And, the first step is just not beating yourself up over it, just realizing, you know what? Don't think of the failures in the past. Don't spend too much time thinking of, you know what, I wasted so much time. I'm a failure. I was never able to do it. I don't have what it takes. That's going to be a very important step. Now, I'm going to list out 5 things, and you should take notes on it, that you can 100% do to see change. And then Josh and myself will break each one down one by one, giving you different tangibles. The first thing is going to be to fully commit. The number 2 thing is going to be to track your food and be consistent with it. Number 3, strength train 3 to 5 times a week. Number 4, you want to increase your movement through steps and cardio. And number 5, get some accountability and some extra help on your journey. So the first thing, and I really wanted to talk about fully committing, because the reason I find a lot of people don't actually succeed throughout their journey is that they dip one foot in the water. They don't fully go all in. They say, you know what, I'm going to try it out a bit. Like if it doesn't work, that's okay. And they just kind of try, but they don't really try. And I find the best success with losing 20 pounds, 50 pounds, gaining 10 pounds of muscle and hitting a huge bench press, like whatever it is you're striving for, like this can be applicable to anything you're striving for, is just going all in on that. So I really encourage you, whatever goal you have set, don't treat it as like it's an okay thing to hit, but it's like an absolute must. It's a non-negotiable. So if you start with this first step and then you follow the next things we're going to talk about, I promise you can be absolutely unstoppable. Yeah, next up, when it comes down to the nutrition side, so this is where a lot of people end up getting this wrong in their journey, is that they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to eat a bit healthier. I'm going to make a few changes. And that's good and all. Like in order to build the habit, you absolutely do have to cut out a lot of the nonsense. And if you say, you know what, this year I'm cutting out the processed sugar, I'm not drinking, and I'm going to just make better decisions, you'll 100% start to see change. Don't get me wrong. But I find where a lot of people struggle, like let's say you want to lose 20, 25 pounds, people will lose 5 pounds from like making better decisions. But until you see the numbers in front of you, until you actually have a budget and keep track of what's going on, it's very, very hard to succeed. So I highly encourage you, say, you know what, for the next 90 days, I'm going to keep a log of everything that goes in my mouth. any food that I have, any drink that I have, if it's higher calories or if it's above 0 calories, I'm going to keep a log of that. And you pair that with consistent strength training with 3 to 5 workouts a week where you're actually pushing yourself, I promise you, you will start to see some incredible change. Now, in order to lose this 20 pounds, 25 pounds, once again, if you have 100 pounds to lose as well, this will all apply. We have helped thousands of people in this exact scenario. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your energy balance is in check. Now, what we mean by this is that if you are simply eating less calories than you're burning, you will absolutely lose weight and you will be able to keep it off, assuming you stay consistent with it. So for a lot of you, if you start to eat in a calorie deficit and you start to eat less and you keep track of that and you're just essentially hitting your protein intake as well, but then you increase your movement through either doing a couple walks a day, doing a run or two a week, playing some sports, or even just simply increasing your steps and going from 6,000 to 9,000 or 7,000 to 10,000. If you simply maintain that calorie deficit where you're eating less and you're moving more, there's a 100% chance that you will lose weight. And there's some people who just say, you know what, that doesn't apply to me. I promise you that's not the case. But this alone is what really, really moves the needle. And it's hard to know if you're doing things right if you're just like, oh, I'm eating better. But it's like, how much are you eating? How much protein are you having? What's your fiber like? And so like, I will say, although I'm giving you some simple tips, the greatest thing you can do is have someone who can actually dive into the journey and hold you accountable with everything that needs to be done, right? So it's a lot deeper than just eating healthier and having a good workout routine. And having accountability goes such a long way. So the truth is, there will be challenging times. There will be times where you want to give up. There will be times where, you know what, you feel like the scale went up this week and you just want to, stop and go completely backwards. There will be a trip that comes up. There will be a busy work week. There will be something that pops up, and having accountability and someone to make changes based off of that will make such a big difference. Josh and myself, we've helped over 5,500 people now to date online, which is absolutely phenomenal. And if you are someone who wants to see change and actually see change for 2026 and beyond, just message us real results to Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusUSFIT. I truly believe a lot of people end up getting some good things right. They end up making some great changes. They cut out some carbs. They, start to drink more water, doing all this good stuff, but then they just end up losing all that because there's no one to hold them accountable. There's no one to tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And that's where a lot of people truly do struggle. So that's one of my biggest tips. And I just had to add that in for this amazing question.
Yeah, Kyle crushed it. That truly is the formula to getting it done. And I think more than anything, the answer to the question is in the question. So having 20 pounds to lose, trying it, but it hasn't stuck. So I imagine this individual has lost some weight, but put it back on. And I think the first thing you can do, separate to obviously the tangibles that Kyle has here that will absolutely get you there, is to change your mindset. If you have a mindset like, I'm going to try, or we'll see if I can do it for a bit, you're already destined to fail, right? I always like to encourage my clients and obviously my community, like you guys, to embrace this, to embrace a fit, healthy, and happy life. And don't see it as a short-term measure, because short-term measures are only good for short-term results. Instead, say, I want to learn to eat healthier so I can have more energy, so I can have better digestion, so I can gain more muscle, so I can live longer, and learn to enjoy doing that. Learn to enjoy getting to the gym and craving improvement and seeing progress and building your just actual self. And the more you can not see it as a burden, and you can work against I guess the societal push to just eat garbage, to need to not take care of yourself, to live for short-term hedonic quick pleasure, and instead say, I actually want to work to create real change. The next step you can do is reflect. So we've future plan now we can previous plan, right? We can plan in terms of the past. We can say, I was doing well till when? Was I doing well? And then I had to go out to dinner with friends and I blew it and I just started cascading and getting worse. Maybe that happened because the plan or program you were doing wasn't realistic or sustainable and didn't account for that. And that's where even within our coaching, we like to account for every variable. If you're in a different country, if you're in a different situation, if you're going out to eat with friends, if you're stuck on an island and there's only a McDonald's and you got to hit your macros on it, there's always a solution, believe it or not, if you look past it. And if you have that future plan and goals and the attitude, and you understand even if you fall, you can get up, you understand in the past where you've gone wrong, what your weak points are and how you can improve. Maybe you didn't tell anyone about your goals and you were doing well and then you fell off and there was no extra pressure, and that's where that accountability can come on. And then most importantly is the present, right? What you actually do. And I think Kyle covered that really well. And the fully committing is everything, because when you're half in, you're also half out, and naturally it's not fun immediately to change your life, to go through struggle, to push yourself, to try to evolve. These things initially are uncomfortable, but through that discomfort comes progress, comes growth, comes change.
And even on that note, it's kind of sad, but like we notice a lot more people struggling with something like this. Like it's very rare we'll have someone, and shout out to you guys. Like we obviously our clients do this, but even some listeners, they'll say, "Hey, I've been listening for years and I lost 40 pounds and I've kept it off," which is awesome. But we hear a lot about more struggles than anything. And oftentimes, like I have to say this because Josh was bringing up some good points, but a lot of people do have short term kind of thinking, right? And so when I have a client sign up with me and they have goals to lose 20 pounds, keep it off, have a social life, be able to do all this great stuff, we're not thinking, hey, how can we lose these 20 pounds as quick as possible? Like, it's not a rush, you know, it's like our goal is sustainability. Our goal is long-term success. And so when we break it down and we have a client who sends us, here are the photos, here's the measurements, we also know the struggles too, right? Like I'm working with some people who have very clearly shared with me some potential eating issues, and we've been working through a lot of that. And that's where obviously accountability is absolutely phenomenal. But I'm able to take a look at this person and say, okay, here is the strategy we're going to take. Here's where we want to be by the end of the first 90-day phase. Here's how much we can lose. A lot of people will do 20 pounds in 90 days. No problem. Obviously, there's some challenging moments. I totally get that and I totally understand that, and I want to make it clear that, like, although I said, hey, keep a log of your calories, like there's so much more to that. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to eat less every day. Like Josh was saying, there will be different moments and different challenges. And obviously that's where accountability comes into play. Like I've been getting a lot of messages, especially through the holidays. It was just like, hey, here's a family gathering I have. Here's this trip I have planned. Here's all this stuff. But I would say most people are just so desperate to just be like, you know what, because I've failed for 3 years in a row, this is it. My friend at work who's doing a water fast, and then my other friend who's doing keto, they said that they lost weight, and like, this is what I'm going to do. But instead, for us, what really works is being able to take a look at the individual, breaking down the strategy, breaking down, okay, let's do this sustainably. So I'm going to get someone in a slight calorie deficit. So they're eating a little bit less to get them in a small deficit, nothing crazy. They're able to still function well. They're still able to do everything day to day. It doesn't feel like they're just in a constant diet phase and they can never have anything. And like, that's why we're able to succeed versus a lot of other people who are like very emotionally attached. And they're just like, you know what? I need to lose it by February because I have a trip coming up and I'm going to lose this 20 pounds. Well, similar to, as Josh brought up in the question, a lot of people will do that and then gain 25 pounds back. It's not fun to lose 20 pounds and gain 25 back just to be able to say, oh, I've lost 20 pounds. Like we want it to be sustainable. And that's why it's so important to just have a longer term approach, because when you do think that way, you start to make less drastic, crazy emotional decisions that a lot of people make. And if obviously this sounds way too complicated, which once again, it doesn't have to be, but it can be because a lot of people make it seem that way. I guarantee my results, and I've opened up a few spots this week to work with me one-on-one. So all you have to do is message me real results to Instagram, and I'll take care of you 100% of the time.
Yeah, I love Kyle's points about just being analytical, right? So even if you have that vacation, if that's going to supply the motivation, it's not going to apply the consistency past that. Like if you just past that, you ignore it, you're destined to fail. Whereas if you say, hey, 20 pounds by this vacation, that puts me at 2 pounds a week. I can hit that. I believe I'm in a deficit of this many calories. I do my cardio. I go to the gym consistently. I'll make sure I'm on track for that. Then you could say, for that vacation, I'm going to be intentional, go back to maintenance, go just above maintenance. Then from there, you could say, I'm going to re-enter that cut, make sure I'm at that equilibrium. From there, you could push into a reverse diet. You could push into a maintenance phase. You could push into a growth phase. You go for even more. But it's really important you actually have dates, a plan, and accountability in mind. And you can forge that too by accepting that identity. If you're like someone who wants to be lean, just say, I am a lean person. It's just the same if you want to be a lawyer. Like you got to do that work and go through those steps and go to school, and there'll be parts that are easy and there'll be parts that are hard. But as long as you're working to that and you say, I want to be this, so you can say, I want to be a lean and muscular person, like just keep embracing into that and keep setting plans, and even look in front of like what is in front of you with that vacation. Is that going to be a hiccup? Do you struggle struggle around the holidays. What's a plan to solve for that? Is there a time where you'll be out of the country? Like, what can you do? So just rework that mindset to look for solutions, not excuses. And this, frankly, is how you become very elite. It's just doing the same things that you know you need to do, but doing them better and doing them more consistently. And most importantly, doing them when you don't want to do them, or having a plan. Like I used in this example, you can still succeed on vacation. Perhaps that may not look like you getting hammered every night, eating whatever you want, and not sleeping and not training or moving. That could do a lot of damage. But instead, you could say, okay, I'm going to be intentional. What's realistic? Am I going to party one night? Am I going to try and spread it out a bit? Am I going to be really disciplined and be at maintenance? Am I going to bring up past maintenance a bit because I'm comfortable with a couple pounds gained, but I'm going to have a plan to tackle that after? You can see how this thinking, planning, and really just working through can lead to such big results. And obviously we specialize doing this for our clients, but it's amazing when people take this approach, the change they see, the results that come. So I think that was a phenomenal question.
And sorry, I'm popping off here. I'm just so passionate about this because, like, once again, when you finish this year and like your shred phase and you get results, like I want you to be able to say, hey, Colossus Fitness, Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, they're the ones that help me. So I want to give you as many takeaways and things to consider and some things that your friends and family may not say to you. But one thing I notice is a very constant with people who do end up saying they haven't succeeded is they'll say something along the lines of, I was doing well, but this happened. And there's always going to be something. A lot of people will say, but then I had a child, or like, you know, as a father, hey, I'm a new father. My work picked up, so I had to go backwards, or there's just always something. So my biggest thing here is that when you are going through this phase, realize there will be challenges, but work through those challenges. During that tough week, those 2 tough weeks, you may not be making progress, but you don't have to go backwards. You don't have to just stop tracking calories and stop hitting the gym because it's a challenging time. And we find that the most successful people are the ones that work through these different obstacles. They work through a specific trip, a specific work thing that pops up, a family thing, whatever the case is. And in order to be able to succeed and just do all of this, you have to find a way to make it a lifestyle. You know, it doesn't have to be this one big phase where it's like, I'm going to go all in and go crazy and lose 20 pounds. But it's just like, hey, I'm just going to become healthier and make it fit into my lifestyle and do all these things. But I just find like a lot of people will talk about that thing that popped up, and like we're able to work through all those things. Like, believe me, from Josh and myself, obviously ourselves, like doing it ourselves, but helping other people, my goodness, like we have seen absolutely everything, and we have helped so many amazing people work through the craziest things you'd ever think of. And the truth is, it's because we're looking for a solution. We're like, hey, I see that there's this one obstacle in front of us. Instead of going over it, we're going to go under it, and we're going to go around it, and we're going to make it work for you. Whereas most people are like, oh, obstacle, all right, cool, I didn't want it anyways. And that's why when you have a deep why as well, and it really means something to lose these 20 pounds, you will be 100% unstoppable, but you just really have to want it. And going back to my first tip, you have to fully commit. And that's all I have to say on this amazing question.
And this is Motivation Monday, so we like to share a quote that's been on our mind, that's been firing us up. And I think for me, it's just been, even Kyle said, what a start to the year. It's just been one thing after another. There's been like a lot of adversity, but I think I've really just accepted it as an opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to run through it and I'm going to use it as a chance to grow. So I like this quote: we don't grow when things are easy. We grow when we face challenge. If I'm sitting around all day, just watching TV, not going to the gym, not pushing my muscles, not eating good food, not taking care of myself, I'm not growing at all. If anything, I'm regressing. It's challenging some days to wake up and not hit snooze. It's challenging to get out for a walk. It's challenging to get to the gym when there's ice and snow all over your car and you're not feeling it. It's challenging to not have that extra quick, good feeling snack at night, right? But we know by going through these things, it helps us improve. And sometimes life will throw things at you. It'll punch you in the face a bit, and you can kind of whine about it and sit around and go nowhere and be a victim to circumstance. Or you can say, what can I do? How can I go through this? How can I break this down and build up the pieces and get things going? So I've been trying to really work on just embracing it and almost laughing at it a bit, because it's been definitely a bit of a challenge, but just saying, hey, how can I actually end up on the other side of this stronger and better off as a result of it?
Yeah, it got me thinking about a good quote. I think it's we grow through what we go through. And honestly, yeah, it's just easy to think of these different challenges and obstacles and just be like even sometimes when I have something pop up, like the first part of me just wants to like retreat and just be like, I don't want to deal with anything. But I'm like, you know what? Dealing with hard things, pushing through different times and even different difficult situations, or I don't want to go to the gym, or, I've got my neck hurting. I got to figure it out. It's like, all right, like we got something in front of us. Like, let's figure it out. And that's something we've always done. And we believe in for ourselves, for our clients, for our business, for everything we do. So I really like that quote. Now, what's been on my mind, I heard in a motivational speech the other day. It said, you don't need a million people to believe in you. You just need one. So I thought this was pretty powerful. I don't remember who said it, but I think a lot of times people feel like they need like tons and tons of support on their journey. I even want to talk about like the fact that obsession is a normal thing in fitness. And a lot of people feel like they need everyone to accept what they're doing, and they need a big audience, and they need everyone to like, support them, which is nice and all. But like, all it takes is that one person to say, listen, like you have what it takes. And even thinking back to like Colossus Fitness, and some of you guys know the story. If not, we'll probably update you guys over the next little bit, because I know we have some new listeners here. But like, my family didn't support what I did. Like, people around me thought it was stupid. But like, Josh believed in me. He was like, hey, like you have what it takes. Let's do this. And so like, what's cool is that if I were to listen to what everyone else had to say, like, hey, you should stay in school, you should, go pursue this other thing that gives you a safe job, and do all this stuff, like I'd just be pleasing other people. Whereas like having that one person who really cares and who really is on your side can block out all the noise of everyone else. And I relate this to the fitness journey, because there's so many different things, and there'll be so many different moments where you will receive different bits of negativity or criticism, or work events, someone will have something to say, and like you're just trying to be better. But when you have that person, whether it's your partner, and obviously it's not always the best because sometimes you can't say what you want to say, but I think back to having a coach. Like, I really believe in having someone say, you know what, I believe in you. You have what it takes. And that's why, like, what we do, and I talk about it a lot because I really do believe in it. I'm able to take a look at someone who doesn't believe they have what it takes and say, you know what, I believe in you. Here's why, and here's what we're going to do. And so just get people by your side, but you don't need 30 different people cheering for you. You need that one person, maybe two people, to say, you know what, let's do this. You have what it takes. So that's what's been on my mind lately.
I think that's the beauty of hard work, consistency, and being persistent. I actually was talking to my wife the other day about how Kyle is the definition of earn, not given, because we were talking about attention spans and the challenge of attention spans. And looking back on like the whole journey of building a business with Kyle, I joke with him. There was a time where he was so into Instagram scrolling that I'd be talking, we'd be having a serious conversation, and he just starts scrolling reels mid conversation. And like, he has to work against that. Just the same, podcasts used to stress him out, and we used to try to do them without making any mistakes and not do any editing. And it would really make him uncomfortable. He didn't like speaking. He didn't like being in front of a camera. He didn't like typing. He didn't know how to use a computer whatsoever when we first met up. Like, it's pretty bonkers to me, but he's done a great job. Just like I said, not being a victim to circumstance, and even like his upbringing and all these different things. There's challenges there, right? And instead of him saying, I can't do this, it's impossible, this is against all odds, like, it's been cool seeing him navigate each and every component of this, right? And just going into it, embracing it. And even the other day, I was editing a YouTube video, and I used to edit everything. I used to edit all the YouTube videos because he didn't know how to. He didn't know how to use a computer. And then he learned. And now, like, I was watching his video, trying to copy and trying to use some of the good tips he has. So it's really cool to show you that, like, when you work at something and you apply yourself, you can get things going. And like you said, that belief is everything.
I love that. I appreciate Josh sharing that with me. But it's funny because even the other day I was thinking, I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'd have like ADHD, like it's kind of hard to focus, but I'm like, you know what? Like, when I sit down on my desk in the morning, there's like a million things, and it takes me a while to like start going, but I'm like, we always make it work. Like, it's like by the end of the day, when someone needs a program, when a video needs to be up, like, you just get it done. And I feel like society nowadays and people nowadays, it's just like, they love having something handed to them. And it's just like, I don't want to work for it, but I'm just like, it's just so crazy now, because what we did and what we've built and how we help people is just from pure work and grind and like doing some crazy things. And so I'll always have that in me. And it's like one of those things that, like, when you go into this year and whatever you're trying to do, just go in with the mentality that I'll get it done no matter what. It may take you longer to get focused. It may take you longer to get situated, to see results, to like just lock in, but like, just get it done. That's my biggest tip. And I really hope that encourages you in whatever you're trying to do this year.
Yeah, and going through that adversity is exciting, right? He could have just said, I don't edit, it's too hard, impossible, right? And you got to fumble around, you got to be a beginner, you got to mess up. a lot of mistakes were made, and there's a lot of things for me that are very much the same way. But it's really cool when you do come through that and you get that reward. And that's my whole point. Like even as Kyle said, you go through, or you grow through what you go through, right? And that's where I think the more this year too, even for myself, I'm trying to just lean into any challenge, any adversity, any discomfort, and just try to best it and just remove any flinch, just to where I can be fully in control and I can really just be in control of my own destination, my own destiny. And it's been a big thought. So I think that all applies full circle. I'll let Kyle continue with his thoughts.
Yeah. So one thing, it's funny, like I listen, people always ask me what podcasts I enjoy. I'll give a shout out. They're called The Money Guys, and they're on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. But it's funny because like I've been listening to a lot of their episodes lately, and when I click on it, sometimes I'm like expecting some sort of crazy new unique tip and strategy that they're going to implement, but they always keep the basics, and I know personal finance quite well. Josh has helped me a lot with it over the years, and I know that there's never a crazy strategy. There's never something that's going to be like, hey, this is what you should do, it's the best way, like especially anything new. And if it is like, it's going to be bad for you, it's going to be like a fad diet, and it's going to be someone trying to tell you something crazy that you should do, right? But it's just funny because even myself, like I know what I need to be doing, but I love listening to that because it's a constant reminder. And what really got me thinking about like those guys, the money guys, is that like that's what we do with our podcast, is we keep telling you the basics. We'll continue to tell you exactly how it is. We won't be giving you shiny object syndrome of this crazy new supplement or this crazy new investing technique. We're going to continuously give you the basics. And it's funny, I had this conversation with my client, Ariana, and she said that she fell off listening to the podcast a bit, but she's always done her best when she kept having these reminders come in. And we're talking about the basics. We're talking about don't do anything crazy. We're talking about sustainability. And we're not going to be the guys that tell you like you're going to lose 20 pounds overnight with the water fast, just like those guys aren't going to be the ones to tell me to go invest $1 million and, overnight it's going to grow to 20 million. Like they're just going to tell you the basics. And it's funny, so many people are looking for that next solution or that next quick fix, and you don't realize all you need to be given is just the basics repeated over and over again. And by you tuning in every single Monday and Thursday this year, you will have constant reminders. We're going to give you constant new tips and strategies, but these are going to be the things that are going to actually help you out versus what other people out there will be trying to, sell you or, try to give you. So the basics always works done consistently. And those guys are a great example of it, especially when it comes to finances, and we're the guys for fitness that you should be coming to.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you fall victim to sensationalism, if that's even a word, but when things become sensationalized, if that's even a word, it's tempting, right? If I say I have a magic pill where you don't need to go to the gym anymore, you're going to gain muscle and lose fat, you want that quick fix. But just with finance too, we know a lot of people have been burned by just scummy get rich quick things, have been really hurt as a result of that. And it's like really sad because we have this disposition of wanting to get things done quickly to get it over with. But like most things, finance and fitness in particular, I think that's why I've always had such an interest, is they're so intertwined, is any amazing progress comes from consistency and just doing the basics well, doing them often, doing them with expertise. And I think Kyle's point was spot on there. And that's where even in this podcast, we really want to just direct you to no BS answers to help you become fitter, healthier, and happier, and hopefully save you a lot of pain, discomfort. And also, it's hard when you think you have some quick fix, it fails you, you feel like you're hopeless. Instead, I really encourage you to go about it the right way. And I think speaking of the right way in terms of my thoughts and what's on my mind, we're over a week into our New Year's challenge, which has been so exciting. There's been a lot of fun events in this. It's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of growth. I'm really enjoying it. And the challenge is just such an opportunity to get massive progress forward. Our Facebook community just for our coaching clients has been absolutely amazing, and everyone's been motivating me in there, sharing recipes. We've been doing exclusive live stream podcasts just for our clients and communicating with them. And I just think it's so nice having a community behind you, because when I feel weak, I get built up by them. And when you may feel weak, get built up by your coach, your community. It makes you unstoppable. So have people on your team that are going to motivate you, drive you up, and be there for you. And I hope your new year is going strong as well.
Yeah, it's funny because even like there was a part of me that was looking at our challenge criteria and I was thinking, you know what? Oh, cool. We went to the Leafs and Panthers game and we were right behind the bench, which was so cool. We had an amazing opportunity to do so. And I snapped a photo of our water and posted it. I was like, you know what? Like to me, I am not a fan of deviating. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. And that's why this challenge is so good because like when you say you're going to do something and you follow through, it builds habits, but it builds that like mindset of just like, hey, I'm going to follow through with this thing that I'm going to do. When I say I'm going to hit steps, I hit steps. And a lot of people don't realize the power of that, but they also don't realize the power of when they do unfortunately go off on the deep end, such as, hey, I'm going to do a month of no drinking, and they start to break that, then one thing leads to another. And then you lose promise, you lose trust in yourself, you lose confidence. And that's why I really encourage you just to, you know what, say, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to follow through with it. And I tried to do that with everything. I'm not perfect, but I just thought, I was like, oh, we could break this and maybe this. I'm like, no, what am I thinking? Like, why would I do that? Like, we say we're going to do something, let's do it. And I truly believe that's the easiest and best way to become the best version of yourself. And on that note, what we're going to do is shout out to an amazing client. So this is actually Jeff. And what's really cool is actually he works in the hospitality business. He's always someone that has to travel around. He has to be around alcohol for his job. He's a busy father, and he's just done such incredible things on his journey. He's ended up losing over 40 pounds of fat while building lean muscle, completely changing his body composition. So it's absolutely incredible to see just someone who was struggling when they first came into the program, just be able to work around their situation, right? Even for the training program, we had him doing a bunch of stuff at home. The gym situation wasn't what's going to work for him. So we put together something for him at home to focus on. And he just saw such incredible results and is going to continue to do so, which is absolutely phenomenal. But, as you know, when we talk about these client shout outs, it's just so cool because everyone's situation is so unique. And for those of you who are listening, you're all in completely different situations. The amount of traveling, the amount of kids you have, the amount of hours you work, like there's just so many different variables, like your mindset, how much you've lost in the past, how much you have to lose. And the truth is that having someone by your side who's actually able to hold you accountable and tell you exactly what you need to hear, that's really going to make a big difference because so many people will search on Google and say, okay, I've got this to lose. How am I going to do it? And then the thing is you need something for you because when you realize that everyone is so different, and that's something I've learned, I remember when I first started coaching, I was just like, oh, everyone will have the same approach. Like I can just give them the same macros and, the same workouts. Like truthfully, this was like 12 plus years ago. And then I realized, wait, Jeff is very different than Sophia, and Sophia travels this much, and then Jeff travels this much, and then Tom has 3 kids, and then Sally has 1. Like everyone is so different, and that's where so many people struggle, is thinking that they're gonna search on ChatGPT or Google and find the solution for them until they realize, like, no, I need something that's for me and something that changes week by week based off of what's going on. So once again, if you're looking to see change, real results, I'll get you there. I just had to pop off because I'm pretty passionate about that one.
Now we're going to jump back into the mailbag for our second question. And that is, do you ever have those times where you feel like you're not in good enough shape?
Yeah, great question. And I just wanted to bring you back on my journey just a little bit. I won't bring you, all the way back. But when I first started, I felt invincible. I spent the first few years walking around in a tank top. I was a young dude and I felt like I was the man. I was deadlifting 315 in high school, and then I was just so confident. And then there was a point in my journey, and I feel like a lot of people go through this. It was probably a couple years into my journey where I started to feel more insecure, and I started to feel like I wasn't as good as the next person. And then I started to compare myself. And it's funny because this was a couple year thing, truthfully, like before I was on podcasts. And I realized some of my biggest mistakes within that was, once again, comparing myself to others, and just like that stemmed into a couple other things. And I'll give you a couple examples that I had. Was that like for me, I felt like I couldn't, because I was like in the eye of everyone on social media and all this other stuff, like I couldn't post a photo of me unless I was pumped up. Or like I would go in, and if I was hitting leg day, I would only be able to wear a sweater. And unless my upper body was pumped, I wouldn't want to show my upper body. And once again, I was in good shape, like compared to a lot of people, like there was nothing wrong at all. But I just felt like I had some insecurities thinking that I wasn't good enough. And then a lot of it came from like comparing to other social media influencers and steroid users and just like other people. And then it finally came around, like, let's say, I don't know how long ago, but like 5 years ago or whatever. And I just realized, like, I just want to live my life. I'm in good shape. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I will wear a tank top on leg day. I don't care. If someone posts a photo of me and I'm not flexed up, I do not care at all. I'm genuinely very happy. And a lot of that came from just me realizing, you know what, like, I'm my own person. I may not be comparable to the person who's, been taking steroids for quite a few years, or who's just like got a very completely different lifestyle and even different goals. Like, that was another thing, is I'd start to compare myself. And I really think that the biggest stem of the insecurity of all that I went through for a little bit of time just really came down to comparison. And they always say comparison is a thief of joy. But when I genuinely felt happy with like the things I've overcome, the accomplishments that I've had, getting ready and doing a marathon, then ultra marathon relay, and then hitting powerlifting meets, and I started to give myself credit, I was just like, man, like, I'm quite proud. And so a lot of you don't realize that a lot of the best looking, best in shape people actually really do have a lot of issues inside that you'll never see. And a lot of it comes down to just comparing themselves to the number one bodybuilder, the top influencer, whatever the case is. And until you can just be like, you know what, I'm proud of myself, and like, I'm in a good spot, you're going to always struggle with that. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, two quotes for you. First, comparison is the thief of joy. And the second is proud but never satisfied. So that pretty much summarized how I feel about my shape. And for me, I feel like I've done so much. I've done this so long. A long time ago, I really just stopped caring what other people thought. And I also stopped comparing myself to people. And I just found it very freeing. And I personally just strive to be the best version of myself. So I'm really proud of everything I've done, everything I've accomplished, every roadblock I've overcome. But still, I'm always wanting more, and I always feel like I could be in better shape. And I think that's what keeps it fun and fresh for me, and that's something I enjoy and something I really try to celebrate. I also try to be the exception, not the rule. I try to be elite wherever I can. I told Kyle, even, I try to make it to where it'd be hard to compete with me, because I try to operate at a more intense, elite, fun standard, and I fail at that a lot. And there's a million people that are better than me at a million different things, but it's a fun thing to strive for excellence, right? And to appreciate that journey, and not to give your potential, like, not to put a cap on what you think you can do, and instead to really believe you can do anything, get to any milestone, to push to it, and then to do the work to try to make it happen. And sometimes you fall on your butt, but then you get up and you keep hacking at it, and you readjust, and you'll have different goals and different phasings and different things like that. And I think that is what makes it so fun. But I think the best thing you can do is stop trying to build a physique of someone else, whether it's an influencer or a celebrity or someone, and try to build the best physique for you. Like, you have your own anatomy, you have your own genetics. And I think embracing that and working within that, like, I will never be a short, stocky dude. Like, that's not where I am, right? I'm a taller, lankier person, right? And obviously there's tons of benefits to that, but also inherently, like, I look less muscular immediately than someone who'd be really short and stocky. Like, we all have our benefits and our negatives, right? Like, and some people have better genetics for shoulders, some for chest, some for legs. Some people have to work really hard even for their arms to look like they lift, even though they've been lifting 10 years. Like, you got to play with the cards you got. And I think the more you can celebrate that and improve your situation and accept the challenges as well as the advantages you have, the more you'll appreciate that and clear that line of thinking.
And the thing I wanted to add, because Josh's points were great, like, I do believe it's very important. Like, if you are someone who is out of shape and you have to make change, I don't believe you're doing yourself any service by just like lying to yourself. So if I look at myself, I've let myself go, I haven't hit the gym, I'm 25% body fat, and I would just be like, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm proud of where you're at. Like, that's not doing me any service. So I really believe that in order to become better, like Josh's point of proud but never satisfied, like, that's how we live. We always say good, aim for great, not good. Like, all these things are super important. Like, I will look at myself before I hit the sauna. I'll see a bit of chunk. I'll say, you know what? I could do a little bit better here. Like, I want to improve this. And there's something totally fine about being able to say, hey, I want to improve. I should improve. But then at the same time being like, hey, I am proud of what I've done so far. And I think a lot of people have a hard time with that balance of being able to call themselves out and say, you know what, you've been slacking on cardio this week. Hey, here's where you could do better. Hey, you played hockey and you've been absolutely winded. Like, you need to get your cardio back up. Like, being able to have that healthy discussion with yourself of like where you can improve, but where you're happy with yourself. It's just such an important thing to remember as you go about this fitness journey.
All right, and we're going to jump into the mailbag for our third and final question of the day. And that is, I've been strength training regularly for about 6 years, and I can do one pull up. It's one of my goals this year to be able to rep at least 5 good pull ups. What are some strategies?
Biggest common mistake with pull-ups and chin-ups, I find, and especially just in general, men, women, anyone, I see a lot of people hop up into the bar and just do like really bad quality pull-ups, half reps, swinging, all this stuff, thinking that that's actually going to help them become better at pull-ups. And you'd think, yes, okay, if I'm trying to do a pull-up and like I'm doing it, and like even if it's not good, like that'll make me better, right? So one of the greatest things you can do, because I know a lot of people have this goal, by the way, like there's something so powerful about being able to just rep out your body weight on the bar for many, many times. But you want to break down the movements. You want to start to do it in a way where you're doing the movement to a lesser degree. And so I've got a couple different examples you can start to incorporate. We do a lot of this for our programming for our clients. So when they come in with goals like this, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds and I want to be able to do push-ups with my body weight this many times, as well as pull-ups, we're able to put it into their pull day training and then sometimes add it to an accessory day. But stuff like negatives, so a negative and an eccentric. So what that's going to mean is you're going to set up a bench below you, underneath your feet. You jump up to the bar. You control yourself for 3 to 5 seconds on the way down. Let your feet hit the bench, jump back up, and repeat that. That is incredible because you're still doing the movement, but you're just not pulling yourself up. And then you can work towards being able to. When you incorporate that, as well as just assisted pull-ups, whether it's with a band or a machine, you will start to be a beast at pull-ups long-term, or chin-ups. Now we can toss on different movements such as dead hangs, where you're just holding yourself at the very bottom. That's going to build up your back strength, your core strength, your grip strength. And then an isometric hold, where you're holding your chin up to the bar and you're holding up there as long as possible. Now, a lot of you can't see this. I've put together, second link down below, it's a YouTube video Josh and myself filmed years ago with different examples of how you can add this in and how you can actually do it, so you can see the visuals, so you can also check that out. But yeah, I just wanted to share that for this question.
Yeah, those tips are going to be everything. Be consistent with that as well. Obviously, a great way to build strength, believe it or not, is to just strengthen yourself overall. I always believe the body wants to be symmetrical. As you make your legs stronger, your upper body will follow suit, and vice versa, as long as you're doing the work everywhere. But you'll notice the more you just improve strength in one area, how much it can influence and impact another. So even after coming off of a huge leg day today, like I think it's really important to take every area of your training super important. And obviously muscles feed into each other. And as you build stronger biceps for pull-ups, as you build stronger forearms and grip, and if you can lower your body weight, like all these things pairing with those amazing tips will actively help it. Not as much as those active tips, but it's always good to be thinking of your training as a whole and to really understand programming and the beautiful benefit that being on a great program can get. We always like to say we can get 5 times more results with our programs because they're made for you. They're fully custom. We'll utilize just the best equipment for you for your time, so you're not doing any fluff or filler, but so that you're doing everything that matters and actually changes and moves the needle. And once again, we want to give you that opportunity to get your real results, to work with me and Kyle one-on-one. DM us on Instagram to @ColossusFit, real results, to get that started. And we look forward to working with you in this new year and absolutely crushing it. Peace out.